dystopian. I mean, we're living in a dystopian present. I mean, w- what is happening? For those who don't know, my name is Jason Sellers. This is the Jason Sellers Politics Podcast. We talk about Minneapolis politics, Minnesota politics, American politics, and world politics in that order. Today's episode will mostly be about American politics, national politics. One quick thing before we get started. I've been told my visuals don't look that good. They don't right now. It's dark. I tried setting up my camera flashlight, but it hurts my eyes. So I'm gonna need like a ring light or something. But for now, this is what you're gonna get. I got a new computer, so hopefully the quality will be a lot better than on my $300 Windows PC, and there shouldn't be any buffering. But if there is, that'll be not great. But I think I did stop the buffering issue on the HP. The problem is it was the quality was really bad. The quality is not great on here either. And I tried using my HD webcam, see if it would be better. The MacBook doesn't have the best webcam, and also my light's kind of fluctuating right now. I need to get that fixed. I plugged in the HD webcam and it was all dark, so I think it might be broken, or there's some setting I have on that I didn't know about. Like, it wasn't all dark. I don't know. It looked really bad. It looked mostly dark, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like black. So this is kind of an impromptu episode. I think the title of this episode was it Vote, Act, March, Write, Talk, or something like that. Haven't officially decided on a title quite yet. And that's just because this is just because I want to just give some resources, not even resources, just give some ideas, you know. So what we're gonna do is, it's late, it's like 11:30. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to go over some elections, some very close elections coming up in the midterm for the general elections, and then I will just give some other ideas. For the other ideas like marches and stuff, I didn't delve into actually in specific research. I just want to get the idea out there. I decided to do this episode. You know, I've been wanting to do something about different elections throughout the country for a little while, but I decided to do this very one like at less than an hour ago. So not a ton of time to research. Um, but let's get into it. So obviously, what we're talking about, why we're talking about this is, well, there's two real reasons, but the big one today. Today is Friday, June 24th, 2022. The Supreme Court officially made a ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade, which has been precedent for decades. I made a video about this a while ago, and I gave a little spiel, and I think I might actually go and find that and just read that to you, in case you didn't see it. Here we go. So this is what I wrote. Yeah. This is from May 3rd, when the decision was leaked. We found out some disastrous news yesterday. In the case Dobbs v. Jackson, the United States Supreme Court has basically tentatively voted for a decision that would strike down Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade protects a woman's liberty to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing as a U.S. citizen, and I don't think that's overreacting. You want to allow people, the government, to dictate someone's body. That's not okay. I don't care about your biblical reasoning or pro-life BS you want to throw at people. Roe is literally based on the right to privacy. Not even getting into the is the unborn alive or not, which I don't believe it to be, by the way. It's not okay to demand to know, let alone decide, someone's health and future. You know what? How about this? We have an overpopulation problem. Men 35 and older have to get vasectomies. How do you like it? No, I don't think that should happen, but that's because I respect personal decisions. You are messed up if you think a woman who was raped and impregnated should have to keep the baby. Even if it's from a consensual business. Oh my God, consensual relationship, it's not your business. But let's be real. The vast majority of supporters of this and many other conservative ideas and ideologies are male and mostly white. I'm male, but I know my position. I know if I have a family, I won't be the one carrying the baby or throwing up in the morning or going into labor. But that's a stigma. Morning sickness. It's not just mornings that people throw up, that women throw up. It's morning sickness is kind of a overgeneralization. Or going into labor. I can never understand what other demographics go through, including women, and I think that that's important for any man, especially us white men, to realize. There's just a lot of thoughts, and I just almost too many to write a whole new thing. So I just read that from May 3rd. It is crazy the country we're living, the world we're living in. The hypocriticalness nature of the Republican Party is disastrous, and it's detrimental, and it could be potentially, and if it continues, will be, if they continue to have power, will be deadly. I mean, it has been already with COVID, with guns, which we'll get to in a minute. I It's dystopic. This shouldn't be. There shouldn't be such divide. There's people who literally don't know what's right. Like they're prioritizing money and power over helping people. And it's not just that. It's not just that they're doing that. It's that they don't need more money or more power. They have money and they have power. The corporations are giving them so much money, but they continue and they need more. It's like sports. I love sports, but you give me $5 million, I'm set. I don't need a $50 million contract. I know, amigo. I know. See, even my dog has opinions about this. The other thing is that whole religious BS thing I put in that statement is that's just one thing. I can almost guarantee you none of the Republicans are actually doing this because they believe it's what God wants. Which, by the way, I think is a stupid reason anyways, because say God sends the person who has an abortion to hell, how does that have anything to do with you? Because clearly they don't care about other people. They may say they do, but they don't. They don't. The other reason I'm making this episode it's not as recent of a reaction, but it's something I've cared a lot about for a really long time, is guns and assault weapons. And there's so many you don't hear about the shootings where one or two people die. Like, I'm thinking of Buffalo and Uvalde. There's been quite a few since then. It's crazy. There's a bipartisan bill that passed that doesn't do that much, but I guess it's one step in the right direction. I do not get why people are so dependent on and defensive about their guns. I mean, I do get it. It's because they want that power. They want that hierarchy. They want to show people, hey, you're not messing with me. You're not breaking into my house. I mean, you do not need an assault weapon. I don't even think you need a firearm to necessarily defend your home. If nobody else has a firearm, why would you need one? But you don't need an assault weapon for anything but killing people. You don't even need it to hunt. It is a military weapon, and people can buy it. Regular people, 18-year-olds could buy. I'm 19. I don't need an assault weapon. it's sickening. I was in fourth grade when Sandy Hook happened. I was in ninth grade when Parkland happened. So I was right around right around the ages of those two events, the victims, and especially Parkland. I was so anxious, and so many other people were anxious. In fact, I'm gonna read another statement. This is a Twitter thread I sent out a little while ago. Just gotta find it real quick. All right, this is from June 7th. I was in elementary school when Sandy Hook happened. I was in high school when Parkland happened. These events, parentheses, and the inaction to follow, have caused anxiety, fear, paranoia, and restlessness to many children. And it's a fraction of the trauma that the families of these innocent victims and the classmates who survived will feel for the rest of their lives. They have had their loved ones ripped away from them. They've lost trust in the sacredness of schools and other important places. I think about what will I do if a shooter comes in a lot of the times when I'm in class, at a movie, or in a store. Now imagine what the people who have literally seen this happen firsthand must feel. They've seen something nobody should ever have to see. I won't forget it. Schools, parks, stores, theaters, concerts. They're all places that people should enjoy, or at the very least, know they're safe. But that's not the case in the United States. The very question, have you ever thought about what you'd do if a shooter came, is heartbreaking. So let's make one thing clear. It's the guns. We can improve mental health services. We can better secure our schools. Armed police aren't the answer to that, though. But the guns are what make these massacres possible. The Las Vegas shooter would not have ended 60 precious lives by throwing knives. The ability to fire bullet after bullet is not a necessity. You do not need an assault weapon for anything. It is a piece of war equipment. It is used for one thing, killing. The NRA and many members of the GOP don't care about the common human. They don't care about our safety, our trauma. They care about profits and power. They care about sales. This is pure evil in its most obvious form. It is the guns and they know it. Why restrict good gun owners? What justification for owning a gun is more important than life? Would you rather have a gun or have thousands of people have their lives? I honestly think most people would have the latter, but they're drowned out by the rhetoric. It is the guns. I mean, yeah. I mean, if it was possible, I would want to ban all guns, But it's just, I don't know how. I saw a tweet today that the bullet was literally invented after the Second Amendment was created, so technically, the Second Amendment only protects muskets. It's bad. It's bad. People are calling Joe Biden's presidency a disaster, Joe Biden's presidency a failure, and there's certain things I agree with on that. Like I'm sure Bernie Sanders would have been a better nominee. He probably would have won 2016. He would have been a better president, I'm sure. But there's so many things you need this Congress for. He has a House majority. He has a Senate majority. But so many things you need 60 votes. And thank God this gun thing was one of them, but that got 60 votes, but 62 I think. But there's so many things he cannot pass. And sure, there are certain things that he can do executively, such as student loans, and he should do, and those are things that, yes, I agree with, he has to do. But there's so many things he probably wants to do that he cannot, which is just I don't know. I don't think it's as much as a failure of the government structure as it is a failure of the Republican Party, because I mean, basic decency, basic morals should say, hey, people's lives matter. Whether it's people, kids in school, they don't care if they're shot down. They don't. I'm sure there are Republicans who have empathy, who have remorse, but a lot of them, and a lot of them that are in power, do not. They do not care. So the main thing I wanted to do in this episode is go through some elections in this midterm coming up. I think it's November 8th. So I'm gonna go through races. Um, I didn't, you know, I looked at the Wikipedias and I wrote down the ones that were close in terms of demographics. And some of them were close, but then the incumbent was solid, gonna win, so I didn't even include them. So for Minnesota, I'll go more in detail, but for the other states. So let's start with Minnesota. Governor, Lieutenant Governor. It's gonna be Tim Walz, Peggy Flanagan, the incumbents versus Scott Jensen, Matt Burke. Similar to the Biden thing. I'm sorry. God, I keep getting cold. All right. Similar to the Biden thing. Tim Walz, yeah, he's less than ideal, but we need Democrats. This is something I meant to say earlier. Please vote blue. Please vote for Democrats. And in primaries or elections that aren't partisan, that aren't primaried, vote for progressive Democrats. Because we need change. And at the very least, getting Democrats across the board, at the very least, will keep us from getting worse. Progressive Democrats, with a majority of progressive Democrats, will help us make things better. So Tim Walz and Peggy Flanagan run against, I'm not going to include doctor in his title, Scott Jensen and Matt Burke. Oh my god. Oh man, I've disliked Matt Burke since like 2018 when I was watching Vikings pregame, and I don't know if I followed him on Twitter or just saw him on Twitter, but man. Hypocriticalness, is that a word? Hypocriticalness of Scott Jensen and Matt Burke. We gotta take power from the politicians. First of all, by definition, you're running for office. You are a politician. And you say, well, they're not career politicians. Scott Jensen was a state senator for a term, at least one term, I think. So maybe more. So there you go. Attorney General, don't vote for Scott Jensen. Oh my God, he is, especially on COVID. He's a doctor. He's so dangerous, and he has promised to ban abortions. Right now, Minnesota will be a haven for 5 surrounding states, which is terrible. I mean, which should be, every state should have that, right? Every state should have clinics. Everybody should have equal resources. But it seems like Minnesota, at the very least, will have something for other people, which shouldn't have to happen, but it will. Attorney General Keith Ellison, incumbent Democrat. Yeah. Again, some of these positions that I'm going to talk about, I don't know much about, at least not yet, but I would suggest voting for the Democrats. Secretary of State, incumbent Democrat Steve Simon. State Auditor, incumbent Democrat Julie Blaha, I think is how you pronounce her name. And then Congress, Angie Craig in Ward, District 2. That's a very big one, very close one. Please vote for Angie Craig. I think what's his name's running against him again. What's his name is running against her again. Can't think of it right now. Dean Phillips in District 3. Betty McCollum in District 4. That one's not really close, thank God. But then District 5, again with the progressive, what I'm talking about. Minnesota primaries not till August. Vote for progressive Democrats. Do not vote for Don Samuels. My God, in the primary. If he's the nominee, though, I mean. But please vote for Ilhan Omar in the primary. I probably didn't even have to include her for the general because she's probably going to win, because let's be real, it's the urban district. But please make sure she's the nominee. All right, so Arizona, which is red +3. Republican governor, I don't know, Ducey, I don't know what's his name, is term limited. Slate of people running, and Democratic Senator Mark Kelly is running, incumbent. Colorado, blue +3. Democratic Governor Jared Polis is renominated. Florida, which is red +3. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, who may be one of my least favorite humans on earth. Seems like Nikki Fried, is that how you pronounce her last name, is going to be the Democratic nominee. Republican Senator Marco Rubio is running again. Democrat Val Demings is probably the best option there. So please, Florida, please vote for Demings and Freed. Please, 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 Florida. Georgia. Ooh, Georgia. Republican Governor Brian Kemp renominated already versus the Democratic nominee Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams would be so awesome. Vote for Stacey Abrams. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock, who is a literal reverend that is pro-choice. Listen, I'm a Vikings fan. I've disliked Herschel Walker before I even knew he was in politics. Granted, I was younger. I wasn't even alive when that trade happened. But he's crazy. I mean, he's crazy. And he has no. He doesn't live in Georgia. Don't vote for Herschel Walker. Vote for Raphael Warnock. I can't believe he. I mean, he was Trump backed. I can't believe he won. Maine, which is blue +1, probably because I don't know. I actually don't know. Yeah, Democratic Governor Janet Mills is renominated. Michigan, which is red +1. Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer running. Please, please vote for Whitmer. She's cool. Nevada, which is even. Democratic Governor Steve Sisolak is renominated. Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto renominated against Republican Adam Laxalt. New Hampshire even. Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan running. New Mexico, which is blue +3. Democratic Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham renominated. Ohio, which is blue R+6, which could stand for red or Republican. Governor Mike DeWine renominated. DeWine, I don't know. Versus looks like Democrat Nan Whaley. And Republican Senator Rob Portman is retiring. It's going to be Republican J.D. Vance versus Democrat Tim Ryan. In Pennsylvania, which is red +2. Oh boy, Pennsylvania. Democratic Governor Tom Wolf is term limited. So the current Democratic Attorney General Josh Shapiro versus Republican Doug Mastriano, who is a Trumper. Republican Senator Pat Toomey is retiring. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Republican Mehmet Oz. Again, doesn't deserve the respect for the title doctor in there. Versus Democrat John Fetterman, current Lieutenant Governor. Please vote for Fetterman. He's really cool. Please vote for Shapiro. In Texas, which is red +5, Republican Governor Greg Abbott versus Democrat Beto O'Rourke, who I really hope wins. Probably doesn't have much of a chance, but I really hope he wins. In Wisconsin, which is red +2, Democratic Governor Tony Evers is running for re-election, all against the whole slew. And Republican Senator Ron Johnson is running against the whole slew. I don't get how they elected a Democratic governor, but still elect Ron Johnson, not just a Republican, but Ron Johnson. So yeah, I just wanted to go through that just so people who don't know, elections in other states are aware and can support people on social media or even donate. But so yeah, that's kind of the rundown for the big races. So the gubernatorial races, it would be great to have Democrats across the board, but the Senate is what really, really matters to have that majority. So for the Senate especially, vote for Democrats. Vote blue no matter who. So, yeah, so other than that, just, again, I didn't go into full research on organizations or marches, but just, let's do it together. Let's look up, let's do some research. Let's find organizations to donate to, organizations to support, marches to march in. I've never participated in a march or a walkout, I'll be honest. And honestly, a big reason for that is because I'm scared it's a target. I'm scared it's a radical right target that will shoot up a event like that, especially one related to guns. I was thinking about going to the March of Our Lives, and I didn't. Part of the reason is because I thought somebody might shoot it up, which is it's horrifying. That's the world we live in. It's the country we live in, especially. Find drives, yeah, donation drives. So let's do the research together. Let's find organizations to donate to, marches to march in, drives to donate, drives to support, people to support, candidates to support. Let's do the research. And then post your story if you're comfortable with it. Post your story. Post your thoughts. Make us heard. Make the people in power hear us. Voice your opinion. Because I believe the majority of people are good, and I think we need to show that. I think it'll help turn around this country. And one last thing on a lighthearted note, more lighthearted note. This is a Minneapolis-based podcast, and so I mentioned this on Twitter, but I'm getting back into biking. I've done 2 rides so far, same route each time, around the Stone Arch Bridge to West River Parkway to Mississippi East Bank. About 9.5 miles each, and I'm excited about it. So if you have any tips for biking in Minneapolis, have any routes, have any trails, let me know. It's I'm doing it. A big reason I'm doing it is because I want to be a Minneapolis politician, and one, it'll help me get to know the city better, and two, I can relate, and three, I can learn more about biking and respect it more. I mean, I already look for bikers on the road and stuff when I'm turning into the right lane and stuff, but I just want to be more aware. I think other people should be more aware too. So I'm getting back into biking. Wear a helmet. I've never worn a helmet before. This recent surge of biking. So, but wear a helmet. This has been the Jason Sellers Politics Podcast. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at VoteSellers. Subscribe to this channel, Jason Sellers Politics. You can follow on Twitch, VoteSellers, which I probably will never use again. And reach out to people who might be guests. I'm kind of scared to do that. I'm kind of scared to tag people saying, "Hey, you want to be a guest?" Mainly because I'm such a small podcast right now. I got like 2 viewers per episode. So, um, if you could nominate someone for me, that'd be fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for watching and listening, and or listening. That's what I should have said. Bye.